my responsibility here is really to share a few tips with you on how to manage and how to budget. It is quite strange, however, that the best institution who can teach you that is indeed the C&WJ, but they have asked the Consumer Affairs Commission to share that with you. Now, I also want to give you very briefly just a synopsis of the role and function of the Consumer Affairs Commission and what our mandate is, what our responsibilities are to you, consumers. As you all know, the Consumer Affairs Commission is a portfolio agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And our main responsibilities is to take the complaints of consumers, to give consumer education, and to research information so that we can pass it on to consumers. Last fiscal year, the Consumer Affairs Commission was able to get back into the pockets of consumers in excess of $23 million. This came as a result of consumers filing their complaints to us, and the Consumer Affairs Commission then investigating, take action, and get back refund for people. Indeed, there are unscrupulous business people operating in this marketplace, and many times consumers are not aware and are not empowered as to how to deal effectively with these service providers and business people. We want you to know that the Consumer Affairs Commission is the agency for you to make complaint to. You can visit us, you can call us, you can email us. We are easily accessible now. Even in Mandeville, we have an office at Rada Complex, 2B Caledonia Road. Everybody here should know where that is. And we are open there 2 days per week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hopefully, it is going to be 5 days per week very soon. But we want you to know that when it comes to your utilities, when it comes to the haberdashery, when it comes to the supermarket, foods, etc., if there is a problem, you can indeed call the Consumer Affairs Commission, and the Consumer Affairs Commission will indeed be there to help. Now, I want you to consider these questions. Are you borrowing or using your savings to pay off your regular monthly debts? Can you answer that? If you're doing that, you are digging a hole for yourself. And you might not be as fortunate as a donkey. Because as Professor said, the more you borrow, the worse it gets. And there comes a time when the bottom will just drop out. And so, are you borrowing or using your savings to pay off your regular monthly debts? I would say you should not do that. You should ensure that you balance your budget, that whatever you earn is that whatever you spend. And that came out of what Professor said. That is indeed very, very good advice. Second question I want to ask you. Have you ever attempted to budget and give up in frustration or discouragement? Anybody here have? Well, certainly I have. Yes. And even though I am preaching to you, but I am guilty of this. Sometimes I give up in frustration. But I always persevere and try to do what I know is the correct thing. Have you ever involved the children in planning the finances in your family? Many times we think that, we can't include the children in things like this, in budgeting and planning for the family. But I say to you that you should indeed get your children on board, especially when you are going to be planning your budget. You want the children to know exactly what you can afford and what you can't afford. You want them to